what kind of practice worked for you? What didn't? Like vocabulary tips and speaking tips. The next question is from Herman. How much daily time investment were you giving? How much revision were you doing? And time spent on each level? And what happens when your motivation decreases? How did they transition from having good comprehension to producing fluent output in speaking and writing class?
I started learning French on third month of my work permit, and after that it took me about 14 months to clear the TEF examination. Tu na patocht me java que tu saches que le yoga est bénéfique à long terme. Et tu as raison que la musculation est très bénéfique aussi, mais la musculation est bénéfique à court terme et c'est pourquoi, mon ami, je veux que tu fasses un effort pour essayer. Throughout the journey, I was with Frenchify and I'm glad that I made the right choice in my A1, and after that, I never had the chance to even think it twice that, okay, should I go with Frenchify or any other tutor? I always had one clear pathway that, yeah, Frenchify is the best.
Alright, hello everybody and welcome to this video. Today I have Darshil with me. How are you, Darshil?
Good, and how are you, Vyom?
I'm doing well as well. First of all, congratulations for clearing your TEF exam just in your first attempt. How are you feeling clearing the exam in just first attempt?
Yes, thank you so much, Vyom. It would not have been possible without your support and guidance, first of all. And I'm over the moon, first of all, because I always had a dream of clearing this exam in first attempt. Not only me, Rajan as well. We made a goal that we need to do it in first attempt, and we did it. So I'm very happy.
True. Yeah, I'm happy for both of you as well. And the whole Frenchify team, whole Frenchify team is happy, but also very, very surprised because both of you had a clear goal. Both of you guys were studying together. For all the students who are watching, we will do interview with Rajan as well. You might have seen his section B video. I'll be uploading section B video of Darshil as well very, very soon. But both of them, Darshil and Rajan, they were learning French together. They started with Frenchify at A1 and they went on to B2 and cleared their exam. They gave the exam on same date, which was 20 December, cleared it just in first attempt altogether. So I'm going to talk to both of them. Today I'm going to talk to Darshil to know about his experience, and we are also going to talk about how they studied together, what is the importance of a speaking partner, how did they prepare for exam, and what specific techniques they used for reading, listening, writing and speaking. We will also do an actual section B at the end to show you guys his proper level, and then we will also be talking to Rajan in the upcoming video. Okay, Darshil, so first tell me about, after completing your study permit, when did you start thinking seriously about learning French for PR?
So I had the goal of learning French when I was on my study permit, and once I completed my studies and I got my work permit in July 2024, then I decided to do French. But before that, I also had a goal of clearing my IELTS. So I took about 2 to 3 months of training for my IELTS, and I did that first of all. And after that, I came into I came across Frenchify and I started learning French with you guys, and it was almost about starting in the first week of October, I guess, that I started learning French. It was on my 4th month of work permit. Yeah.
Okay, so 4th month of work permit. So you started pretty quickly. And what made you?
Yeah.
What made you decide that okay, French is the way to go if you want to get your PR? And because you and Rajan, both of you guys decided together, you are roommates, so how did you both come up with the same decision?
So first of all, as you all know that I am just 12th grade pass out. So we don't receive lots of points for our PR file, right? And that's the reason we came across different options of getting our permanent residency. But we thought that French is the best option just because we will learn a new skill, and this skill is not only useful for getting our PR, but it will also be useful in our professional life. If we would be a bilingual person, then for sure we will have lots of different job opportunities. That was our main focus at that time.
Perfect. And that's a very good mindset to have. And because you started earlier, you did not have that time pressure, even though there was time pressure because anyhow, work permit will expire, but it wasn't expiring very, very soon, right? So how did that influence your French learning journey? Were you still a little bit anxious that, I have to do it as soon as I can, or were you relaxed with it?
So I won't say that I was relaxed about my time because as everybody knows, right, that 3 years, we think when we get our work permit, we think that it's big span of time, but really it's not, because time flies quick. So at that time, I always had a goal that I need to complete it at the point of time when I have half of my work permit remaining, which means that I need to complete my French examination in 1.5 years of my work permit.
Okay, sounds good. That's a good goal to have. Yeah, you still need that some sort of pressure for yourself, because otherwise, if you do not have any pressure at all, you become just like very lazy and you are like, okay, ki ho hi jayega.
Yeah, for sure. Because first 6 months are very challenging, as you are not habituated to learn something new, mainly something new like French. Because in India, all of us used to study, but that studying is totally different. Over here in Canada, when you are studying, then you need to take care of 3 to 4 different aspects, say like work, your food, and etc. So that's the reason learning a new thing in Canada is very tough, and both of us also faced lots of challenges in our first 6 months, but after that I would say that we were habituated to it.
Good. Okay, no, that's good. Once you build the habit, then it's easier to do. So just want to take a moment to explain about Frenchify programs. Well, first of all, what you'll be able to do is sign up for a beginner program. Very useful, very easy to follow step-by-step program, which helps you understand on how Frenchify programs work. And it will also give you a demo of the first unit of A1, which is something that I highly recommend for you to sign up before starting with Frenchify A1 intensive program, and then you can decide to start at Frenchify A1 intensive or self-study program, and you'll be able to use this discount code Darshil50. The reason Darshil was able to clear his exam in first attempt was because he followed a structurized plan and he followed a step-by-step approach using only the resources which are required for him to clear the exam, and by cutting all the other things which are not required. So if you want to get that guidance, which is very much precise to clear your TEF exam, make sure to register for Frenchify programs and browse through the website to check out more details. Let's continue. I also want to talk about your journey, your timeline of learning French. On when did you start with the Frenchify at A1 level with complete basics up to when you cleared your exam. So you started with A1 on 7th October. That was in 2024, and then you proceeded on to A2 on 25th November. So just about like in 1.5 months. Now you went on to A2, then you went on to B1 on 5th March, then B2. You started B2 on 29th September, like in the end of September, and then October, November, December. 2.5 months of exam preparation. Obviously, like we were doing exam prep at B1 as well, but proper B2 level exam preparation 2.5 months, and then you gave your exam on 20 December, and the result came in next year because there was the holiday break of TEF Canada Center, so the result came in very, very late. But yeah, this was your journey. So talk to me about when you started learning French. Why did you both decided to like start with Vyom, with Frenchify?
Okay, so first of all, I would say that you were the first person which I came across to learn French, and after I thought that Frenchify is a good option, but I always need a comparison for a validation that this option for which I am going to invest my time or invest my money is the best option. And for that, I also did my research for different tutors, and I got to know that there are lots of different native speakers and native tutors. But at that time, I thought that there would be a problem between me and native, that our medium of communication would be a big challenge. And that's the reason I chose you, because first of all, I saw lots of your videos on YouTube, which are freely accessible to all of the viewers. And more than that, I thought that your and my profile is totally the same. Like, you came from India as an immigrant and you didn't knew French at that time. After that, you learned it by yourself, and now you are teaching it. So that was the case for me, that I thought you would have already come across the challenges which I am going to face during my journey. So that's the case that I chose Frenchify. And one thing I would like to share is the Frenchify courses are a bit expensive as compared to rest of the providers, but it's totally worth it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that, Shilya. Because I understand, there are a lot of options in the market, and they do offer at even a cheaper price. But what I feel like is ki now it's your own experience which also says that ki it's worth it, and the reason behind that is because all the other instructors, those who are teaching right now with Frenchify, they themselves have cleared their French exam with Frenchify. and every instructor is TEF certified basically. So as you were involved with not only me but other instructors as well, Harleen, Darshan, and all of the other ones, those who have cleared the exam. So I think that is something which gives you a very precise knowledge and a very precise guidance on what actually works and what actually does not work.
Yes, and another thing which I would like to share is I always need a validation to prove that the decision I'm taking is the best. And Darshan is one of my seniors which I had in my school, and I talked to him about 2 to 3 times before buying the Frenchify course, and he always explained me everything in so much detail, and he always told me that Frenchify courses are the best choice. And once I bought the course, then I would say that I didn't regret it, and it was only a tough choice for me for selecting the A1 course, but after that my journey was crystal clear.
Thank you for sharing your experience on that, Darshil. Okay, all right, Darshil. So now let's talk about when you started with Frenchify at A1, A2. We'll be discussing not only about how you were studying with Frenchify, but also I want to give tips for beginners as well on how they should study, on what did you learn from the course that people should follow. Okay, so first. Tell me about how was your experience at A1 and A2 when you started at A1 and then you went on to A2. What were the important things which you kept in mind, which you learned from Frenchify programs, and how did you practice your grammar, reading, listening, writing, speaking, everything at A1 and A2?
Okay, so first of all, at A1, it's all of basics, right? All the basics of French. It includes the alphabets and genders of all the nouns and stuff like that. So in A1 and A2 we had the proper goal that we should have very good notes of all which we are learning through the courses, so that these notes will be helpful while we are in our B1 and B2 level. And moreover, I would say that the course is very well designed by Vyom, that everything is structured well, first of all. And other thing I would like to add is Vyom always tells you that don't focus on this thing right now, which means that he saves your time, because everything is available in the market, all the resources are available in the market, but nobody tells you that don't do this right now and focus on other thing which is more important. So in Frenchify courses, I like that thing the most, that for example, Vyom told us to just focus on 4 to 5 different tenses which are useful in the exam. And until now, I would say that the rest 4 to 5 different tenses, because in French we have 9 different kinds of tenses, right? So I never I never came across with that rest of the 4 to 5 tenses which Vyom denied to practice.
Awesome. And Darshil, one question which is I think which is going to be a question from all the beginners is that how to learn grammar and how to learn vocabulary, because when we are beginners, when we are starting the language learning journey, there is a lot of grammar, there is a lot of vocabulary to do as well, but how to make sure we do that properly, because a lot of people, and this is again I also advise this, but still people do this mistake, so I just want to retouch on this thing, is that when it comes to conjugations, people try to memorize all the conjugations just in the beginning. When it comes to vocabulary, that they feel like, okay, I have to learn each and every new word that I see. What was your approach to that?
So for vocabs, as you told in our sessions, that vocabs are important, but for A1 and A2 level, you should only know the basic level vocabs, and the complex vocabulary you will learn during the B1 and B2 courses. So at that time, we just focused on grammar and mainly the conjugations, because the conjugations were the real challenge for me and Rajan, both of us. But by the time we just had one goal, that before starting our learning during A1 and A2, we would always revise all the conjugations which we have learned the previous day, and I think that helped us a lot.
Perfect. Okay, that's good. And in A1 and A2 we have as you would have studied through it, we have different tests. We have different units. In each unit there's a proper structure, like first you do grammar, then vocab, then reading, listening, writing, speaking. And when you are done with, so what used to be your study routine? Okay, today I want to focus on this, and then this day of the week I'll focus on that. Did you have any specific study routine to study those particular units, or were you like, okay, let's just complete everything step by step?
Yeah, we just went step by step, because as I told, that the course is very well structured. So we just had a goal of learning French for 2 to 3 hours a day in A1 and A2. And in that goal, first of all, we had about 15 to 20 minutes of revision, which we learned on the previous day. And after that, we learned new, like new content from the course. And the last half an hour was also of revision, which we learned on that day. So that was our study routine. Yeah.
Perfect. And just to mention to everybody, that was last year when Darshil and Rajan started. And after that, we have done a lot of new changes into A1 and A2 programs as well. We also have community. We also have a specific forum. So, I mean, it has become even more easier and even more detailed. So you guys can properly see that on my website as well. But yeah, Darshil and Rajan, they followed that proper structure and they were able to complete everything step by step, which made it easier for them. Was there any challenge, Darshil, when you were studying A1 and A2? Like, what was the challenge for you? Okay, like this is something where I'm feeling stuck right now, or this is something which is not improving.
So the challenge, I would say, is conjugations, because in French we come across lots of different kind of conjugations, the regular verbs, the irregular verbs, and stuff like that. And we haven't been through it in different language, in our mother language or in English as well. So that's the reason I think that the conjugations are the biggest challenge for the beginners. And if we would have focused on it from the day one, then I think that it won't be a problem. So, and moreover, I would like to mention that Vyom tells about not about memorizing but revising the conjugations on daily basis. And for 15 to 20 days, we didn't did that. And that was the reason that I think we faced a bit of issues regarding conjugations in our starting of B1.
Okay. And how did you learn, and how did you like properly got used to the conjugations? Like, what was the solution to that problem later?
It was only revising them daily.
Revising them.
But because in the starting, you told in the course that we need to revise not on the daily basis, but also 2 to 3 day, like however the time suits you. But we didn't did that, and we skipped it for about 3 weeks, almost 3 weeks. And due to that, we faced a bit of issues during our B1. Yeah.
Okay. And let's talk about your time investment at A1, A2 levels. How much time on an average were you giving on regular basis?
Okay. Yeah. So our goal was to study from 2 to 3 hours daily for A1 and A2, and 2 hours was the bare minimum for us. And some days it was also 3 hours or 3.5 hours. But we just made sure that we don't need to we don't want to skip the studies even a single day before clearing that level. Because while we were talking to you regarding the course, then you mentioned that in French, consistency is the key. And that's the reason that we always thought to be consistent, even if we weren't too productive on that day.
Yeah, correct. Awesome. And now I'll wrap up the learning at A1, A2 by asking you this question on the study partner. As you and Rajan, you guys both were studying together. How did that influence your A1, A2 learning, your basic learning and your theoretical learning, and overall base level learning? How did that change with the study partner?
So for the partners, sometimes what happen is the strengths of Rajan is different, and my strengths are different. So that's the thing which helped us a lot. If I'm not able to understand one or two topics which Rajan has understood pretty well, then he always used to help me, and same goes with me. I always used to help him, and that's the reason we made very good notes in our A1 and A2, which were very helpful in our further levels, because the grammar notes are really needed if you want to clear the exam in the first attempt, I would say.
Correct. And now let's move on to the higher levels, B1 and B2. Okay, this is where we started exam specific preparation. At B1, we started with we did half exam prep at B1 and did half exam prep at B2. So how was it like studying through B1, B2 online program, as well as how was the experience like attending the live sessions as well?
Okay, yeah, it was a very good experience. First of all, because as you have mentioned that all the all the tutors and everybody in the class is everybody who is teaching in the class is TEF certified, and that helped us a lot because not only you but one of my seniors, Darshan and Harleen as well, helped us a lot during the live sessions of speaking because me and Rajan we started our speaking from B1. So in that way, I would say that we were lagging in speaking in comparison to the other students, and at that time we felt that we are not training ourselves in a proper way. But after that, during the session, all of the tutors helped us a lot to, and they mainly gave us lots of tips and tricks to improvise our speaking. And after a month, we saw a difference that okay, we should not be demotivated, and we have a good level in speaking.
Perfect. Sounds good. When we start B1, not even B1, like when you transition from a beginner to someone who becomes intermediate, there is a point in language learning where you hit a plateau. You feel like कि मैं इतना पढ़ तो रहा हूँ, I'm studying that much, but I'm still not seeing any change. Like my language is not really, it's improving, like it has improved, but it is not going to that, that higher level where I need to build that for reading and listening. I have to understand almost all of it. When it comes to speaking, I really need to be very fluent and have the ideas on spot. So there is a plateau before that. Did you experience that plateau? Was it there?
Yeah. So for me personally, it was the biggest challenge transitioning from A2 to B1 and transitioning from B2 to B1 to B2, because at that time we are used to do just the same practice for about 2 to 3 months, and suddenly you tell us that okay, now you are ready for B1 and you should go to B2 now. And once we are happy for ourselves that okay, I have cleared one level, but as soon as we go on to the next level, then we feel very much underconfident, and we feel that I was just wasting time. I was just wasting my time, and I don't know anything about French. But after 10 to 15 days of practice in the newer level as well, you will see that okay, you are let you know French, and you can speak well, you can write well, you can understand stuff easily. So yeah, that I felt that plateau as well.
Perfect. Sounds good. And talking about our exam prep at B1, B2, how did reading, listening, and writing and speaking modules that are there in our course, how did they help you? Like, was there any specific thing which you were like, okay, this is very, very useful, or this is something which will, this is something which actually helped you a lot in the exam?
Okay, so I would say in listening, it's first of all, it requires lots of practice because according to me, it's the hardest module for TEF exam or for French. So in listening, it was helpful because you always told us that you should focus on the first 20 questions of the mock test. And after some times we did that and we analyzed the pattern of the questions, and we got to know that all the questions are about same pattern, just the information changes a bit here and there. So I think that helped us a lot in listening, because if you score about if you have 90% of accuracy in your first 20 questions, then I'm sure that you are a bit confident and you will get 10 out of the rest 20, and you would get CLB 7 in listening. And coming to reading, for that I would say it's just practice, because reading is also a module which is the second hardest for French. And in reading you read a lots of new stuff, and every time you come through a new vocabulary, you think that okay, I'm learning French since 8 months, since 9 months, and how do I don't know this vocabulary which is very common and very basic. But that's not the case. You should not be demotivated, and you should just keep practicing it. And in reading, I would say that you should practice it on regular basis as well, because reading not only helps in reading module itself, it also helps in rest of the modules. For example, in listening, you come across an option of a question, and if you don't know the perfect vocabulary for that, then it would be a challenge. In writing, it works the same as well, that you come across a question and you don't know one or two vocabulary from that question, then you won't understand the question and you would mess up. So according to me, you should practice reading as much as possible, but your first priority should be listening. And after that, writing and speaking, I would say just do what Vyom says and you should be fine.
Perfect. Sounds good. So yeah, well, those templates help a lot. Just follow the templates, follow those expressions in speaking, follow those structures in writing. I think that is pretty much good enough because those are tried and tested methods, right?
Yeah, the in writing, as we practice the 2 3 and 2 rule, and it is the most easiest, and also it doesn't consume lots of your time, by which you can improvise your writing after completing your section A and section B. So I think that was the best thing I found in the course.
Perfect.
Regarding writing.
Perfect. No, that sounds good. Thank you so much, Darshil. Now, when let's talk about 2 weeks before the exam. How did your study routine change, or what were you focusing on, and what were you not focusing on, according to the course material as well, but according to the general practice as well? Like, what were your priorities?
Okay, so once we booked our attempt and we did it, so after booking our attempt, we just had one goal of practicing all the 4 modules daily. And I think I know that it's very tiring, but we just had that approach to make sure that we don't lag in one of the modules, because if we get CLB 7 in 3 of them and in one we have CLB 5, then that result is useless, right? So we had that approach, and for following that approach, we used to invest about 5 to 6 hours a day. It was the minimum we did. Sometimes it even went up to 7 to 8 hours, when we did 2 hours of listening, 2 to 3 hours of reading, and then 1 hour of speaking, 1 hour of writing. So it was a bit tiring at the end once we book our attempt, because we always had one goal, that we need to crack the exam in the first go. So,
Yeah. Okay, that's good. And both of you just you precisely hit that goal. That was good. And let's talk about the exam experience. Okay, now we're talking about the exam. Let's talk about exam day, right? How was that experience? What happened in the exam? So walk me through the whole day, like when you guys went into the location, from the time when you came out after giving the exam. How was the day? Like, brief about your day. How was it?
okay, so first of all, we went to Ottawa for appearing for our exam, because we live in a town where there is no center. And in Ottawa, we went to the center at 7:30 or 8, and our exam was at 9. And we just explored the whole corridor of the college, because it was a new place for us, and it took about half an hour to find the exam center. And after that, once we were there, before 15 minutes, they started to enroll and register all the students, and they were allowing us to enter the exam room. And we entered the exam room, I guess, at 8:30. After that, they were sharing different instructions and different rules and regulations which we need to follow during the exam. And the 3 hours of reading, listening, and writing were the toughest for me, because in that time you need 100% attention in reading, and after completing that 1 hour is the listening. So in listening, as you all know, that as it is the toughest module, so you require more than 100%, or whatever you have, you require that effort to crack that exam. And after that, writing, which is a bit easy as compared to both of them. So you cannot I can't say that you can relax it, but you don't need that much attention in writing. But for me personally, I had my speaking in just 20 minutes after completing my reading, listening, and writing. So my speaking, I would say that I didn't perform well in my speaking, because I was a bit exhausted during my speaking. But after that, luckily, I got good results.
No, I think you're being humble. CLB gate, I think it's quite right. It's all good. Even after being exhausted, you got CLB 8, so that's what we need. Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. And then we gave exam on 20th December. The result came on 4th January. 5th January.
On 5th of January in the morning.
5th January. Okay, so 15 days because of Christmas holidays and stuff like that. So it took a time.
Yeah.
But finally the results came and, first attempt. And how was it like, both of you guys together, you got the result and both of you cleared it in the first attempt. How was that feeling for both of you? Like, what did you guys say to each other?
So we were very happy first of all because we cleared it in first go, and always as we came to B1, we always used to say one thing each day, that we need to clear the exam together, and if not and we are not clearing the exam, then it should not happen like that one of us is clearing it and one of us is not able to clear it. We always wanted same kind of results for both of us, that okay, if we are passing the exam, both of us are doing it, okay, and if we are not able to crack the exam, then it's the same situation for both of us, just to continue the way of study which we always did together. And in our study, I would also say that we always had positive competition between both of us, that okay, if Rajan has studied 3 hours, then I need to do it. Even I have 10 hours of work, I need to study for 3 hours, even if I am exhausted. But I always had one thought in my mind, okay, Rajan has completed it, and if I won't do it, then he would clear the exam and I won't. So that helped both of us a lot.
Perfect. And this is a very, this is a very important, I would say, like, this is a very important thing that you need. You need to have a competition, a healthy competition, so that you guys can push each other. If that would not have happened, who knows ki, you would not be that much self-motivated, and you might have taken time, or you might have taken few more attempts to get it done, even though the exam would happen anyhow, but it would have taken more time and more effort. And you guys can also practice with each other. I think were you guys practicing speaking on a regular basis? How was the practice going on?
Yeah, so as I mentioned that we used to practice 1 hour of speaking daily, and during that time, one of us became the examiner and the other one was the candidate. And we always used to ask unique questions to our friend, so that he needs a lots of effort to answer that question. And during that time, we always had one goal, that if we are the examiner, then we should be the toughest, so that we prepare for CLB 7 and 8. We prepare for CLB 8 or 9. So in exam, even if the topic is very hard for us, then we would get CLB 7 for sure. That was our goal during our speaking practice.
Darshil, I have one question for you. You followed Frenchify structure, and when we start focusing on speaking. But there are still a lot of confusions. A lot of people are like, like, I'm a beginner, I should start speaking right today. Or being a beginner, I should just start my speaking. What is your advice? When should someone, when they're learning French, when they should start focusing on their speaking? When is the right time to do so?
Okay, so if you are a beginner and you are thinking that from day one you are able to speak, you are able to listen, you are able to read, and you are able to write, then that won't be possible, and that's totally a wrong practice if you are having that goal. Because when you are a beginner, then your first goal is to learn the basics. And for speaking and writing, I would say that in the Frenchify courses as well, Vyom suggested to do the monologue videos in A2 level. And once we are on B1, then we start our section A practices for speaking and writing both. And on B2 level, we start our section B practices for speaking and writing. And according to me, that's the best time, because if as a beginner you are trying to focus on speaking or writing, then it would hurt your perfection in grammar. And according to me, the more perfection or the more mastery you have in French grammar would help you to make complex sentences in speaking and writing, which would help you to get higher scores. So as a beginner, according to me, you should not worry a lot about speaking or writing.
Perfect. Darshil, I want to ask, this question will be from beginner learners, from intermediate learners as well. Is ki, if someone is a beginner, generally speaking, what would be your advice for beginners?
So for beginners, first of all, try to stay consistent, not only for beginners but for intermediates as well. And as a beginner, your main focus should be grammar. It should be your first priority. And after that, you can also make the vocabulary notes or the conjugation revision or stuff like that. But grammar should be the first priority. And if you do that during your A1, then you won't come across lots of challenges which normal students do during your further levels in B1 and B2. And that's the reason I would say that in A1, if you're focusing on grammar, then you are you're making the learning very easy for you for your further levels.
Perfect. And for intermediates, what would you say? Those who are, now done with grammar, but they're focusing more on reading, listening aspect. They're just more practically focusing on the language. What would you say to them?
Yeah, so to them, first priority should be listening for sure. And after that, reading. And for listening and reading, you should always have one goal that no matter what happens, you need to practice both of these modules daily, even for at least for 1 hour. Then you need to practice it, because if you are not consistent enough, then you would forget the stuff which you came across in next 2 to 3 days. And that's the reason I would say that staying consistent is the key. And moreover, during the course, Vyom tells this a lot, that you need to do it the revision of what you have learned in reading and listening. And it just starts with in the mid B1 or B2 level, I would say, that you need to do the revision. And for me and Rajan, we skipped that part for a month, I would say. And then we talked to Vyom that, okay, Vyom, we are facing this kind of challenges in our reading and listening. And he asked us that, okay, so do you do revision? And we were like, no, we don't do it. We just try to know. So we just try to consume the language as much as possible. But he told that revision is the most important part in your learning journey once you are at intermediate level. And after that, we started doing revision, and luckily we saw good results. We also saw lots of improvements in ourselves when we started doing that. So yeah, thank you, Vyom, for that advice.
Thank you so much, Darshil. Thank you for mentioning that. Awesome, sounds good. Thank you so much for this. For responding all of these questions. I do have one thing. I think you might have seen that reel. I asked my viewers to ask all the important questions to Darshil and Rajan. Okay, so what I'll be doing is I'll be talking about these questions. I'll be over here. I'll share the screen of these questions as well, and you can read through that questions. I'll speak those questions and you can respond to them. So first question is from Simran Sachar. What kind of practice worked for you? What didn't? Like vocabulary tips and speaking tips.
Okay, so for speaking, I would say that in B1 you need to memorize some questions, and at that time you feel that it's not necessary because you are learning the language since 6 to 7 months. But I would say it is very necessary for you, and if you do that, then over the time you would create complex questions, and which worked for me. I would say that I bought this Frenchify course, and it was the best decision I have ever took in my French journey.
And next question is from Herman. How much daily time investment were you giving? How much revision were you doing? And time spent on each level? And what happens when your motivation decreases?
Okay, so for A1 and A2, we used to study for 2 to 3 hours on daily basis. 2 hours was the minimum we used to put in. And once we were on B1 to B2, at that time we used to study 5 to 6 hours a day, and sometimes it even went up to 8 to 9 hours. So 5 to 6 hours were at least which we used to put in at that level. And sometimes we are demotivated for sure, but at that time you just need to know that okay, you want your PR, and if you don't get your PR in the specific time, then you will have to go to India. So that's the reason.
Correct. And what are the most, like for you specifically, Darshil, what were the most, give me 2 to 3 most useful exam specific resources that were helpful, and how to build speaking skills? This is the next question.
Okay, so for resources in listening, I would say TEF Canada from YouTube for Quebecois accent, then RF5 Concept Facile and AFE as well. And after that, Inner French, Easy French. And one of the channel which I liked a lot on YouTube was TV1 Info. It has a very good level vocabulary and very good level short videos which are useful. And in reading, it is La Libération for big news articles. Then for government websites, we used Canada government and French government websites. And TV 5 Monde and La Figaro were all the resources which you used. And in speaking, yeah, you just need to practice it daily, and it would come over the time. You don't need to worry about the confidence or your tone. It would just come over the time. Just your goal should be practice it daily.
Perfect. Sounds good. I'll take this question from Abhishek. Can you please ask them on how did they transition from having good comprehension to producing fluent output in speaking and writing tasks?
Okay, so for that, you are coming across new words and new vocabularies during your reading and listening practices, right? So we always had a habit to jot down all the new vocabs or all the new phrases which we learned on that day. And once we did that, we used to revise it on the next day. But during that practice, you would come across lots of vocabulary that you already know, or lots of verbs that you already know. But if you think that that verb can be useful in your speaking or writing, then even if you know that verb, but try to write it down for about 5 to 10 times on 5 to 10 times on that day, or on different times, and so that you can use that during your writing and speaking, which will help you to create complex sentences.
Okay, Darshil. Now, one question. You are Gujarati, Rajan is Gujarati as well, and some Gujaratis, when they're learning French, I have a lot of Gujarati friends as well, that's why I know this. When they want to start learning French, or when they're learning, they feel a little bit unconfident, or they feel like will it happen, like my accent, very harsh Gujarati accent comes in, या फिर वो कैसे होएगी, इंग्लिश सीखनी ही बड़ी डिफिकल्ट थी स्कूल में, अभी फ्रेंच सीखनी पड़ेगी, कैसे पॉसिबल होगी ये? सो व्हाट वुड यू से टू योर फ्रेंड्स? यू कैन रिस्पोंड टू दिस इन गुजराती टू देम.
ઓકે, હા, એટલે સાચી વાત છે કે આપણને એવું લાગે કે ભાઈ આપણે નહીં બોલી શકીએ કે નહીં શીખી શકીએ, કેમ કે આપણું એક્સેન્ટ ને એ બધું બહુ ડિફરન્ટ છે. પણ એના અંદર મેં જેવું કીધું કે મારો એક સિનિયર હતો દર્શનભાઈ કરીને, જે આ કોર્સમાં ભણાવે છે ઓલરેડી, અને મારી એમના જોડે કોર્સના A1ના પહેલા જ વાત થઈ હતી કે દર્શનભાઈ મને એવું લાગે છે કે હું નહીં કરી શકું, તો તમારું શું કહેવું છે? તો કે આપણે એઝ અ ગુજરાતી આપણને એવું ફિલિંગ હોય કે ભાઈ આપણાથી નહીં થાય, આપણું એક્સેન્ટ અલગ છે, આ છે તે છે. પણ અગર તમે પ્રેક્ટિસ કરશો ને મહેનત કરશો અને કન્સિસ્ટન્ટ રહેશો ને, મેઇન વાત છે કન્સિસ્ટન્સી. કન્સિસ્ટન્ટ રહેશો ને તો ગુજરાતી હોવ તમને કંઈ પ્રોબ્લેમ નહીં કરે, અને ફોર શ્યોર તમે એક્ઝામ ક્લિયર કરશો જ.
Alright, thank you so much Darshil for this interview, and I'm very sure that this will help a lot of students who are learning French in Frenchify community as well, but overall everybody who is watching this video as well. So thank you so much for giving your valuable advice, and if you guys have any other questions as well, please make sure to put your questions down in the comment section so that we are able to probably do a live and I'm able to answer all the questions which are specific according to what you want to know. So yeah, again, thank you so much Darshil for joining this call.
Yeah, no problem, Vyom. And thank you so much. Not only Vyom, but all the Frenchify tutors and all the people who helped me during my French journey to clear the exam in the first attempt. Thank you so much, Vyom, and thank you so much, Frenchify team.